Hi guys, Berry Babe here checking in. I didn't go MIA yesterday because I'm off on some wild eating tangent, although I haven't been super prudent. I'm sorry, the chainsaw in the background, Andy, that's a sound that you're hearing a lot these days. I did have a couple days of eating. I was up this morning, I was 147. Even I got on the scale not too long ago and I saw 143 something, so sorry. I have been continuing to do the HCG, but I haven't been doing super low calorie. Pretty much yesterday I just stayed flat with my foot up. The toe on the left foot is no longer bruised, but the ball of my foot on top is still very, very swollen. Not as swollen as it was, but it still hurts to put pressure on it. And then I tripped on something. I should put shoes on. I tripped on something and bruised the other one on the other side, so I haven't been doing any exercising. Not that I do a whole heck of a lot when I'm doing HCG anyway. So I had I guess you would call it a non-scale victory. Last winter when we were in Florida, I had pudged up some. That's when I got up to like the 190 mark. And I had gone to Walmart and bought 4 pair of stretch yoga pants kind of a thing, and they were comfortable. Except after I put them in the dryer the first time, then they got too short. And I thought, well, 2X seems like a lot, but that's what was fitting comfortably. So today, the boy is over, and so I put on some clothes, and I grabbed a pair of those. I had loaned them to a girlfriend who was going out of town on a junket where she needed to do a lot of layers. So I pulled on this chaps top and I pulled on those pants, and I had a bag of garbage in one hand and the rest of my lunch dishes in the other. And fortunately the boy had moved into my daughter's room, because I took one step and those pants literally fell down around my ankles. So I don't think I'll be taking those to Florida this year. I don't know whether I'll just run a seam up the edge, because they are nice and soft for sleeping in. But my husband's had that problem, because he's got a big stomach and he wears his pants up over his stomach, and he has to wear suspenders most of the time. So he's had a problem where sometimes when he's just wearing a belt, his pants just fall. So with my luck, they drop to my ankles, and then I trip over them, break something, break a hip. So I don't know if I mentioned this, when I was at the allergist the last time, he said that when you turn 65, insurance, Medicare won't, and most private insurances stop paying for any drugs, even if they benefit you, that cause you to feel like you're sedated. Like my Tavist, which is an antihistamine, like there's a antihistamine decongestant that I get that the copay is $25 to me, and he said it's a real old-fashioned one, but that tends to have a sedating effect. And he said, your opinion is that anything that makes seniors drowsy is going to make them more likely to fall down. And if they fall down, they'll break a hip. And if they break a hip, they'll get pneumonia. And that will cost us money. So that just pisses me off. You know, you may be running marathons when you hit 65, but you can't have any Benadryl unless you buy it over the counter. I know it was awful for my mother. We all have sinus issues, and when she was in the hospital, she was in and out of the hospital for 15 months before she died. And just something as simple as a Benadryl would help clear her sinuses, yet every hospital, and they're on a rotation, you know, when they call an ambulance, it's like, okay, it's time, this hospital hasn't opened, this hospital hasn't opened, and they have to fill them in rotation to be fair. So it was a brand new group of people every single time, and we had to fight with them. And then I'd sneak them into her, and my sister'd get pissed. But man, there was one time after she, it was prior to this, but she'd had her knee replaced, and they gave her oxygen without any water, without it, and her nose got all dried out. So then they went up there and they burned it, they cauterized it. Well, they caused the problem in the first place, so it's just scary. Going into the hospital is just scary. So Friday, today is Sunday, Friday we head to DC, and actually the Sunday or Monday on the way home will be my day 23 on HCG. So I expect once I get to DC I'll do some eating that won't be great for HCG, so I just don't know. You know, I was talking with someone about the fact that once you get into your realm of not too bad, the motivation gets harder to stick to. There isn't that burning, gotta get there, gotta get there, gotta get there kind of a feeling. And I have been continuing to take my water pills every day, and I have been doing 1 supplemental protein a day. So it feels like I'm eating a lot, but I must not be if I'm starting to come back down from the overeating. It's the sugar that seems to make me go up. Just the regular carbs don't seem to do that, although they make me crave the sugar. So anyway, I have been craving soup and crackers, and it's like the winter. It's crisp today, not super cold. When the family we had turned the heat off on those real warm days, and my daughter didn't vote to turn the heat back on yet, so it's not quite to that point yet. So we got stuff going on around. Andy, I'm hoping you get your power back on, because that's rough. That's rough. You can do with without a lot of things, but boy, electricity, I get cranky. So that's all I have that I can think of. Bye for now.